Well, hello folks, it's Whiskey again, and today I've got another Metri video. And in this video, me and a couple of my friends, Honey and Griffin, take out a Giga, and in the next clip, Honey and I take on a Para. So it's about hunting apexes with the Metri, and that's one of the easiest things to do with the Metri is to hunt big, slow apexes. It's really a preferred target for us, even when I'm solo. Pick nose, gigas, torbos, those are the best targets really that I like. Those are my favorite targets for the Metri. The reason being is that they're big and slow and they can't catch me, and I can chip away at their damage until they're finally dead. And during the fight, I've got heal calls, and I can heal up, and they can't heal up. So I just weather the storm when I take big chunks of damage like I just did right there, and go away from them where they can't catch me and heal up and go back in. So it's a pretty simplistic play style, and it's a endurance play style, and it's fun because for me it's fun because we are taking on the big strong apexes of the world, and I think that's a fun, challenging thing to do. They've all got certain tricks and things that they can do to beat the Metri, and usually it's getting in tight spots or areas that the Metri can't get in and out, like we are in this big field. Worst place you can find yourself on an apex up against a Metri is in a big open area like this. So it's kind of fun for me a little. It's sort of ironically fun because I mainly used to play the Rex all the time, and that's what would harass me so much is when I would go out into the open, I would get harassed by Picknos and Gigas and Torvos and the stuff that could, get in and out on me, and force me to somewhere like the water or a cliff or a rock or something like that. So it's kind of fun to turn the tables and do that play style on other characters now. So it's a bit of a change of pace for me, but I'm really enjoying it. Like I've said in a couple of my previous videos, it seems kind of easy, and if there's all things being equal, it is kind of easy if you're patient. But a couple of the big threats are starving to death or needing to get water, or third parties that can come in and kill you because the fights take so long. There's a long opportunity for things to third party you. Like in this fight here, we were worried about the hats that's sitting up in the tree. It was watching this whole fight, and we figured, any minute it was going to come down and try to fight us. So we have to be, because of that, we have to be extra careful about our health. If the hats wasn't there, I probably wouldn't be too concerned about going down to about half health or maybe even less than half. But since he's there, we're really trying to stay up to about 3/4, because if he comes down and tries to attack us in the middle of the fight, we're going to need the health to turn and fight him, and get him to either fly away or kill him. The real challenging things on Metri to go against or anything with bleed, so we got lucky here that we caught this Giga without a bleed bite. If he had bleed, we probably wouldn't have been able to stick with it for so long, because it makes it to where you have to, it kind of turns you into a regular dinosaur without a heal, because you can't heal with bleed on. So you have to go, and you can still do it, but it just takes longer and it's harder. The small fast stuff with bleed, like conchs and dilos, if you run into a pack of those, it's a big problem. Solo conch is no problem, even two conchs. It's a little harder, but you can still manage it. Same with dilos, one or two you could probably handle, but any more than that, you're probably going to die, because especially the dilos are faster than you now. So you got to really watch out. That's kind of your main enemy and threat on these Metris. And quets. Quets are even worse because they do bleed and they can fly. So you've got to get into a dense forest or something or find a cave against those things. One of the things we've been working on as a team is using the intimidating screech. You can, if you're really good, you can pop that, debuff your opponent, and then go in and get some hits. And then when it's on cooldown, you can swap it out for the personal heal. Like that's what I've done here. So then you can stack up group and personal heal at the same time. If you really want to, you can get somebody with the trot call as well and do the same thing. Pop the trot call before the battle and then swap it out to intimidating screech. Use that and then swap it out for the personal heal. And then you'll have all the perks of the Metri throughout the fight. Though the trot speed isn't all that important. It's a little noticeable. I guess it definitely wouldn't hurt, but sometimes it's just not, you don't think about it, or it's not worth taking that extra time to swap an ability out, because it is kind of risky to swap an ability in the middle of a fight or even before a fight, because if something sees you sitting down or laying down, you could get blapped. The Metri used to be even worse to fight against as a Giga, because their food and hunger didn't drain as much, so they could literally just sit through a fight like this without even having to worry about food drain or hunger or water drain, and it made it really frustrating. Now at least we have to be careful about managing those things before we get into a fight, and it makes it a little bit more difficult. We've got the right idea, but it wasn't the best place because we can still jump off the back of this rock and not take damage. If he was on a cliff or against a wall, something like that, it would have been much better. Somewhere where we can't jump off the back without taking damage, or if it's a wall, you know, you can't get around behind him. Here Griffin does a flying leaping claw attack here and takes a little too much damage, and it's kind of fun sometimes to do experiment with things like that. We know at this point, I mean, the fight, he's pretty much cooked, and we can heal, so you can, that's one of the fun things on the Metri, is you can really experiment around and do, you know, jump kicks and leaping claw attacks and all kinds of different things like that. And if you goof up a little bit or take too much damage, you can always just run away and heal up. It's one of the beautiful things about the Metri. And you can see here how badly scarred he is now. This is death scarring, so he's cooked either way. And in this clip, Honey and I were walking, we always try to walk around the map before we go to Savannah, see what we can find. And we were starving, and we happened to run into this para. So we got really lucky to find a solo para. And the para was already kind of in a good spot up against this cliff right here, so it made it a little more challenging for us. But it turned out to be a really fun fight. That was a really bad positioning on my part. I was trying to get in behind him, and I wound up getting in front of him. Those hooves on the para, the front two hooves, do the most damage, so you definitely want to stay away from those. That was a big mistake, and you could see how low my health went. On any other dinosaur, that could have been the end of the fight, because I might have had to run off and heal up, and then that would disengage me from the fight. And on the Arizoa server, which is where all this stuff is recorded, you can't re-engage until you're fully healed. Yeah, I was talking earlier about going around the map and not going straight to Savannah, and I just wanted to take this opportunity to really encourage everybody to try to explore the map. There's a lot of really cool places around the map, and I know it's always tempting to just go straight to the hot spots, Savannah, Grand Plains, because you know you're going to run into players there. But you know, I'm making a point to run around the map, I go check at least 3 or 4 other biomes first, and kind of maybe plan like a loop where you can make Savannah your ending point, final destination, so to speak. It's kind of what I do, and you'd be surprised. You do find a lot of cool stuff, and you get to have some fights like this in Rupert Beach and some other areas around the map that you might not experience otherwise. And it'll help, I think, spread people around the map more, and it'll make it for a more fun gameplay experience, and you know, have some new and interesting experiences in different parts of the map, rather than just always having to go to Savannah all the time and seeing the same scenery, and you know, clusters of dinosaurs basically having death match. You've got third-party threats. There's lots of more potential for rule breaks because there's a lot of people in a small area, and it can, you'd be surprised. It can be, just try it if you haven't. I promise you're probably going to find something that you didn't expect. And if you make it a habit of doing it, yeah, there are going to be quite a few times when you go around the map and you don't ever see anything and you wind up in Savannah, but at least you know when you go to the final destination, you will be able to have a fight. And those times that we do run into situations like this, it really, really makes up for the times that you don't see anything. Some of my favorite places are Birchwoods, Green Hills, Titans Pass, Grand Plains, Crater, and then down here in Ripple Beach is pretty cool, Broken Tooth Canyon, um, and Green Valley, and then Big Quill Lake is kind of a cool spot too. I'm surprised that that's not more populated. Now they've put extra berry bushes and stuff there. It's especially for semi-aquatics, I think a really neat area, a unique spot to hang out at. And then that river that goes from Big Quill down to Titans Pass is a pretty cool spot, especially if you're a semi-aquatic. So yeah, I would encourage you guys to explore some of those areas if you haven't. In the end here, I see him death scarring, and so I get a little more aggressive and take bigger risks because I'm starving, and he's death scarred. I just need to get him dead, and so luckily here in the end, Honey comes through and gets the final death blow there. So I was proud of her for that. She's become a really good fighter over these last few weeks, and we had a great fight. So hopefully you enjoyed the video, guys. Please leave a like and a comment, and I hope to see you out there in Gondua. Goodbye.